Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, Informed Beauty. Today is going to be a wedding video, and I believe it's my third wedding related video, and I am really excited to do this one. What we're going to talk about is how to save money on sending wedding invitations or creating wedding invitations, sending them, everything related to wedding invitations. As much as I'm sure you guys know, anything wedding related, as soon as you put wedding in the sentence or in the conversation, things tend to get more expensive. So my fiance and I have tried to save as much money as we can, especially considering that we have a relatively large guest list. And so we wanted to minimize costs where we could. And we did a little bit of research, tried to figure out what our best cost saving way would be to send out wedding invitations. Now, I do have to say that we got lucky in the sense that my fiance's parents are actually sending a good portion of the invitations and making their own invitations to send out. So that has saved us a lot of costs. But regardless of how many people you're sending invitations for, there are ways that you can save money. I apologize if my glasses have a glare to them. I'm playing around with new lighting that I have on my vanity mirror, and so things are not necessarily going to be perfect yet. So I apologize about that. So a couple points that I wanted to mention and just a few things that we've decided to do for our wedding invitations. We decided to, first of all, go to a free website, or for the most part, a free website. We decided to choose greetingsisland.com. And this is a website that has a lot of different free templates for birthdays, for weddings, for baby showers, you name it, they have it. There are a lot of different websites out there that offer free designs that you can choose and print out and whatnot. However, I found that greetingsisland.com had the best designs, and at least in my opinion, they had the nicest designs and they had more variety of designs to choose from. A lot of the other free websites, they had the more simple designs on display as free, and then the nicer ones you would have to pay for. So that's why we chose greetingsisland.com. So we chose, because our wedding is going to be a 2-day event, we chose one invitation design for our first day and another invitation design for our second day. And then each invitation design came with its own RSVP card as well. So when we chose that design on the website, it just came along with an RSVP card that you could also alter. And what happens is when you choose a design online, it lets you type in whatever details you want in there, your names, the location of the venue, and so on and so forth. So that was free. They did have a watermark on the actual invitation as well as the RSVP cards. However, this watermark was quite small and it wasn't like interfering with the actual text of the card. So if we were to send it out that way, it would not impede people from reading the card. It would not be super obvious. However, we did feel that it was still a little bit tacky. So my fiance is actually pretty good with techie computer stuff. And what he did is he used, I believe it was CorelDRAW. It's a graphic design program, and he was able to remove the watermark himself. Now, you can judge us all you want. Some of you may not feel comfortable with doing that. There is an option to actually pay to have the watermark removed on greetingsisland.com, and I believe the fee was $9 or something like that. I'm not sure if it's $9 per copy or if it's $9 for the whole, just that one time, and then you get, well, I guess it would be the one time, but my fiance was insistent on removing it himself, so I let him do that. And again, but you do have the option of paying to remove it. And so we were able to not pay anything for the actual design. For printing, we went to Staples. I don't know if there's a Staples in the United States, but in Canada, it's basically a office furnishings, but mostly like office supply store. They also have printing services. Now, we could have saved more money and gone to a local print shop where printing fees are cheaper. However, we were a little bit lazy. We went to Staples instead, so we did end up paying a little bit more, but it ended up costing us $69 to have all of our copies printed. We decided to do 50 copies for the first day, 50 copies for the second day of our wedding event. And then the rest, my fiance's parents would be our printing. So we ended up spending $69, like I mentioned, and we could have paid about $50 or $55 if we had decided to have the printing done not right away, but for us just to go and pick it up the next day. Because we wanted to get it done the day of, we paid an extra about $10 or so. So that is why we ended up paying a little bit more. So there's definitely room to pay even less than we did. Again, just by going to a local print shop instead of like a chain store and not having to pay extra for printing the day of. We also cut our own invitation. So what happened is we had two copies of invitations per page that was printed. And then for the RSVP cards, it was 4 per page. So Staples had a one of those industrial, I'm not even sure what they're called, but cutters where you slide the sheets in, multiple sheets, and then you can slice them in different directions, and hopefully it'll be straighter than using a pair of scissors. So we did that, and let me tell you, that did take a lot of time, but it did save us, I believe, about $20. So again, it's completely up to you whether or not you want to pay extra to have that cut up for you, or you can do it yourself. And probably a local print shop would have charged less money for something like that. Or they may have had you do it yourself. I'm not too sure. So we did that ourselves. My back was pretty sore from cutting so many copies and leaning over the machine to cut them, but we got that out of the way. I believe it took us 2 days to cut all of them. And then we ended up going to Michael's to get envelopes. So the envelopes we just got there were 50 pieces in the bag. So this is what it looks like. Initially, I had wanted to order a larger amount of envelopes in bulk from Amazon, and I was hoping to get like a champagne color. But for some reason on Amazon, even the American Amazon, I was not able to find envelopes that I liked. So then I ended up just going with ivory ones from Michael's. And sometimes Michael's is surprising, and they do have some decent deals. We ended up buying envelopes as well as seals for the envelopes both from Michael's, and the seals were $5 each. So we bought 2 packets of seals, and each I think had 25 of these seals inside. So the seals were a little bit pricey, but the envelopes I believe were about $12. So it wasn't too bad. And these are 5 by 7 or 5.25 by 7.25 inches. So we ended up going with more plain envelopes, but then we splurged a little bit for the actual seals. These ones are just glittery and gold champagne color, and then we had another set that was that was basically gold, a gold background, and then it had 2 hearts on it intertwined together. So it was really cute. So surprisingly, we didn't overpay too badly at Michael's, but you can definitely, if you like a particular style online, you might be able to find something even cheaper. It really depends on how many guests that you're having to send invites off to. And because we were making our own invites, printing them off ourselves, we were placing each invite inside of each envelope ourselves, we addressed the envelopes ourselves as well. So the postage, we paid $30 for stamps, and it was just 1 stamp per envelope. The envelope was not too heavy that we needed 2 stamps or anything like that. I think there was 1 envelope that had to go to the US, but besides that, it was all within Canada, at least for our part of the guest list. So that ended up being not too bad. If you want to save more money, there is actually a company, at least in Alberta, it's a company called Dick Post or DYCK Post. I'm not sure which way it's pronounced, but basically you go and give them whatever you're shipping and it will go through the US. And then from the US, it can go to Canada, it can go to wherever you want it. And the US postage rates are actually cheaper than Canadian ones. So if you have a larger number of people you have to send invitations to, you can save money by doing this third-party company that will ship it for you. You pay them a small fee, but it's usually a small amount. So that would be my suggestion, is looking at third-party shipping companies that will ship for you. Oftentimes it'll be through the US, for example, in this case. So that's something that I learned from my fiance, and we initially were planning on doing that, but because we ended up having to send out so few invites, compared to the size of our full guest list, that we decided that it wasn't worth it for the number of invites that we were sending out. But just some food for thought for those of you that are sending out all of your invites for your entire guest list. I wanted to show you the invitations and what they ended up looking like so you have a general idea. So again, this is greetingsisland.com. This is for one of the days. And again, I'm covering up anything that has personal information on it because I don't want to share it online publicly. But this is for our second day of our wedding festivities. I really liked the purple theme that was happening here with a little bit of pink, just because our wedding colors have pink and purple in them. And then our seals speak more to the champagne portion of our color scheme or color theme. So I was a really big fan of this. My fiance likes this as well. And then for the first day of our wedding festivities, this was our design. And again, this was free on greetingsisland.com. We were quite impressed with the options. And you can't even tell that there was any watermark on it. It was so small to begin with. It was pretty easy for my fiance to remove it. And the colors came out quite nice because the printers that Staples uses, they're pretty good. Now, if you have a nice printer at home, a nice laser color printer, you could do your printing at home and save even more money potentially. We just have a color printer, both of us, so we really didn't have that option. But you can definitely buy your own stock, a nice paper and all that jazz if you wanted to save even more money. And then our invitation, or sorry, our RSVP cards were basically mini versions of the wedding invitations. So they were like this and like that. And so we put both of those in the envelope. They looked professional, they looked quite good. I was very happy with it. My fiance was pretty happy with it. In total, we ended up spending $120.99 Canadian on postage, on the envelopes, on the seals, on the cards, like the printing of the cards and all that. When I was comparing how much it would have cost us if we had ordered invitations and had them sent on our behalf from something like minted.com, I know there's a lot of websites like minted.com where you order a design and you choose what you want to write on it. They will send it for you, and then they will be sent directly to the guest, from my understanding, when you provide all of their addresses. So all the envelopes are provided, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So I was curious to see if it actually would have cost us about the same. Would it have cost us more? Would it have cost us less? Because prior to that, I had looked at the cost a long time ago, and I remember it being quite pricey, but I couldn't remember the exact prices. And so I chose a random template on minted.com to see how much it would have cost for 50 copies to have those done, personalized, sent off to all our guests, and so on and so forth. So we had it would have cost us, and this is all in US dollars, so I had to convert to Canadian. Altogether, including shipping, it would have been $218.76 using that specific template that I chose on random. Now, some templates might be a little bit cheaper, some might be more expensive. I'm not 100% sure, but it definitely looks like websites like minted.com would have cost us more. So we did go with more of a slightly more DIY route. Now, I'm not sure if the larger your guest list or the more people you have to send out invites for, whether or not it would become a better deal on a site like minted.com, but my feeling is that it just would have still ended up costing you more. Now, there's always that element of convenience versus money. How much are you willing to pay for convenience, and also what your budget is for the wedding? So ultimately, it does come down to personal preference, how much free time you have, and how much time you're willing to put into printing invites, cutting them yourself, addressing them yourself, and so on and so forth. There are a lot of different elements to consider, and there definitely preference will come into play. But I thought that I would share our experience with wedding invitations with you guys, because it is a big component of wedding planning. And I personally actually found that designing the wedding invitations, printing them, addressing them was one of my favorite parts of the wedding process. Now, if we had to send out invites to our entire guest list, which is about 150 people, I probably would have gotten a little bit sick of it. So I would like to hear about your experience with creating wedding invitations, signing them off. Post down below, let me know how you chose to go about it. Are you happy with the way that you chose to go about it? How much did it cost you? And if you have any other thoughts and questions or just things that you wanted to mention about this, post down below. I really want to get a conversation started in more of my videos. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you enjoyed this video. Stay tuned for more wedding related videos and beauty related videos. There will definitely be more that are coming. And I will see you guys later. Bye.